A peep into the magic mirror. Jennifer woke up with a jump. She sat up in bed. Goodness gracious, what was all that noise? She reached over to her brother's bed and woke him too. Benji, wake up! There's such a noise! Benji sat up in alarm. Bells were ringing, someone was blowing a trumpet, and there was the noise of gongs being banged loudly. "Oh, Jennifer, how silly of us. It's the people welcoming in the new year," said Benji at last. "You know Mummy told us everyone was going to ring bells and bang gongs at midnight." "So she did, and I'd quite forgotten," said Jennifer. "Goodness, I was awfully frightened." She got out of bed and leant out of the window with her eiderdown around her. "There are lights everywhere, people with lamps and lanterns, and there's Mr. Brown banging his gong, and I do believe that's Mr. Trent blowing a trumpet. How funny in the middle of the night." Then she jumped in fright, because a low voice spoke in her ear.
"Excuse me, may I come in for a minute? They think they're welcoming me in, but really I feel rather scared."
Jennifer drew back, wondering and a little alarmed. Who was sitting in the tree outside her window? She soon knew. In came someone who looked like a small child, with fair curly hair and a white robe to his knees and a girdle around his waist. Benji stared at him in surprise. "Why, you're like the picture of the little New Year I saw in the papers yesterday," he said.
"I am the little New Year," said the childlike creature. "I'm young now, but if you saw me next Christmas, you'd think I was as old as Santa Claus. It only takes 12 months for me to grow from a little New Year to a poor, bent old year. Oh dear, to think of all the things that are going to happen in my 12 months.
"Do you know what's going to happen then?" asked Jennifer in surprise. "Look, wrap this eiderdown around you. You'll be cold."
"Oh no, I'm not cold," said the little fellow,
and he sat down at the end of the bed.
"Well, I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I dare say my magic mirror does."
"Magic mirror? Have you got a magic mirror?" cried Benji. "Let me see it. What will it show me? All the things that will happen next year?"
"Perhaps," said the little New Year.
He took a small round mirror from his claws and held it up to the children.
"This is it. If you look into it, it will show you happenings in your new year."
Oh, do let's look," said Jennifer, as she peered into it excitedly. "You too, Benji. We'll look together. Isn't it funny? It shines so brightly, and yet when we look into it, it isn't like looking into a mirror. It's like looking through a window." Jennifer gave a squeal. "Oh, Benji, I can see you in the mirror. You're sliding on the ice. Oh, you've gone in. The ice is cracked and you've fallen in. Benji, what's happening to you?" The picture faded away. Benji looked worried. Another picture came. This time it's of Jennifer, and oh dear, she was in bed with spots all over her face. She looked very miserable indeed. "Oh, look, there's you, Jenny, and you're ill in bed with measles or something," said Benji. I don't like it." Another picture came, of Benji and Jennifer together, and they were being chased by an angry man who looked like a farmer. Oh dear, this was worse and worse. Other pictures came, of Benji crying big tears and holding a letter in his hand to say he hadn't passed the exam he so much wanted. And then there was one of Jenny in party clothes, having her hand bandaged. And oh dear, her lovely dress was scorched and burned, and she was crying bitterly. "Oh, don't show us any more," she said. "I can't bear it. All the pictures are terrible. Surely all those dreadful things aren't going to happen to us."
"Well, they may," said the little New Year.
He'd been watching the mirror too.
"They needn't, of course. It all depends on yourselves. For instance, Benji certainly won't fall in the pond if he obeys his father and doesn't slide on the ice until he's told he can."
"But what about me with measles?" asked Jenny.
"Oh, well, you'll be told not to go and play with a friend of yours who is ill," said the New Year. "If you do, you'll catch measles from her, no doubt about that. And into bed you'll go. And did you see that picture of you both being chased by a farmer? Well, you probably left his gates open or threw stones at his ducks. That's why he's chasing you. If you're silly or unkind, that's what will happen."
"I see," said Benji. "And what about me howling because I didn't pass the exam? Aren't I going to pass it? I do so want to."
"Well, you will if you work hard. But if you don't, that's a picture of yourself being sorry because you've been lazy and haven't passed it," said the New Year.
"And the last picture, of me with my hand hurt and my clothes all scorched and burned," said Jennifer fearfully. "What's happening there?"
"I expect you've played with matches and caught yourself on fire," said the little New Year. "It looks like it, but why do you look so worried? These things haven't happened yet."
But they're going to happen, aren't they? Said Jenny, beginning to cry. They're in the mirror, and it's magic.
You're only looking at one side of the mirror, said the little New Year,
and he turned his mirror round so that the other side gleamed in front of them, clear and empty.
Those are the horrid things that the year may hold for you. Here are some of the nice ones.
The children watched as more pictures came. Happy pictures of Jenny laughing and dancing at a party, of Benji riding an elephant at the zoo, of them both winning prizes at school, of Benji being clapped on the back because he'd passed the exam. Much nicer pictures than the others. But how can both sets of things happen? Asked Jennifer, surprised. Benji can't fail the exam and pass it too.
You're rather slow at understanding, aren't you? Said the little fellow,
putting his mirror away again.
Any of the things might happen, but whichever of them happens in the end depends on you and your behaviour now. Don't you see? If Benji's lazy, he won't pass the exam. If he works hard, he will. So either of the things may happen. It all depends on him. And if you disobey your mother and play with your matches, you'll certainly get burnt. But if you are sensible, you will leave the matches alone, and instead of getting burnt, you'll probably go to a party. Didn't you notice that it was a party dress in the picture that was scorched?
Yes, I did, said Jennifer. She sat and thought for a long time. I understand what you mean now, little New Year, she said at last. You mean that all sorts of things are going to happen, but we make them happen ourselves. Oh, I'm glad I've peeped into your magic mirror. Now I know what to do. But why don't you show everyone your mirror? Let them see the things that might happen. Then everyone will be extra careful to do sensible, right things and try and be good and generous.
I haven't time, said the little New Year. Besides, people wouldn't believe me. I'm glad you do. I think you'll have a happy New Year now.
He slipped across to the window, climbed into the tree and slid down it.
Goodbye, he said. The noise has stopped. I must go and find the 1st of January.
Off he went. The children lay down in bed, puzzled and wondering, and in the middle of their wondering they fell fast asleep and didn't wake again until the morning. Mother came into the room. Wake up. Happy New Year to you both, she said. Jenny sat up and she looked across at Benji. She remembered the strange visitor they'd seen the night before. Or hadn't they? Was it a dream? She called softly to Benji. Benji, do you remember the magic mirror? I shall never forget it, said Benji. Never. Jenny, let's tell everyone about it. People ought to know that it's themselves that make a year happy or sad. Yes, they ought to know it, and that's why I'm telling it to you, so you can make yours a happy one. And what about Jenny and Benji? Well, they are sensible children, so I don't think they will fall in an icy pond, get chased by a farmer, burn themselves, or fail their exams. But if they do, I will be sure to tell you.